everyone, welcome to art class. I'm going to be showing you how to make a slab built bowl today. Going over our tools again, so you're going to need something to score with. These little tools work wonders, or there are the forks just to scratch it up real fast. You're also going to need a knife tool to cut out your form with. Of course, you're going to need some rulers. We need to make a perfectly flat slab here. And then you also need your forms. So you get to choose what type of bowl you want. You can either have a circular bowl or more of a square one with some sharp edges. And I'll show you. I'm going to do the square one for my example since this one is a little bit more challenging. So before you get started, you're going to need to cut this out with a scissors. So just like I have done here. All right, then we're going to start by rolling out a nice big slab of clay. So you're going to need some rulers. You're going to want to make sure you have one ruler on each side of your rolling pin so that the rolling pin sits on top of them. This will make sure that the slab is a nice even thickness. So when you are grabbing your yardsticks, just make sure that they are the same width, the same thickness. You wouldn't want one that's super small and one that's bigger. All right. And then I'm going to quick grab out my clay. I have already pre-wedged it, so I am good to go. But just a reminder, you do want to just smack it around a little bit, make sure there's no air bubbles in it. And my whole goal with my clay here is to make it as big as my template. So this is going to be one really large slab that I need to roll out. As you are rolling out your slab, you want to continuously flip the clay. Just first so it doesn't get stuck to the tarp. Also, it rolls out a heck of a lot easier if you keep flipping it while you're working. And just a reminder, you need to get it wide as well as longer. So. Make sure it fits your form, and we are all set to go. So for the next step, you're going to want to grab a ruler. Okay, like I said, you're going to want to grab a ruler and your knife tool, and we're going to put our paper form right on top, and you want to cut around all the edges. So line your ruler up with the edge of the paper so it makes a nice straight line. Don't try to just free cut this. Then you should be able to just pull it all apart here. Get rid of all that excess clay. You can save that for parts for later. You always want to put your clay into a ball if you're not using it though, because if I left it in that flat slab, unless I still need it in a slab, but if I just left it there, it would start to dry out a lot faster. If it's in a ball, it won't dry out quite so fast. I can get rid of my paper form here as well. And I'm going to start assembling my box. So I'm going to want to slip and score some areas to get them to stick together. So just a reminder, scoring is when we make X's, hashtag marks all along our clay. And this is kind of where the box one gets difficult. So we are going to do every other. So I'm doing, I did the front side of this one, and then I lifted it up to get the back side of this corner. I'm going to show you how these go together really nicely. And actually, before I do that, I am just going to do a nice little score mark. So I'm not cutting through all the way. Just connecting all of these inside edges so that the clay will bend just a little bit easier to make my bowl. So I'm just using the back of this curved part on my knife tool. I'm not cutting all the way through. I'm not even cutting halfway through, just a little indent. I don't want it to break, Just want to make bending it a little bit easier. All right, and then when I'm ready to stand these up, I'm going to add slip to one side, of course. And this is going to overlap. So this will go on the back side of this piece, and they will go together super nicely, making this really interesting bowl design. So you want to do every other, like I said. So if I'm gonna quick take this apart. Score lines were on the back of this piece, now they're gonna be on the front of this piece on the other side. And that will keep it rotating so it's every other, and it will look super neat on your project. So this one will be the back side. It's always the opposite. If this was the top side, this is the back side. And then this one will need to have the top side of this one, back side of this one. So top side of this one. And this is why this one just takes a little bit longer. There's more areas to score. If you're doing the bowl, it's really just one spot to score. But I really do think that this one makes a more interesting bowl, in my opinion. All right, so I'm just gonna add slip to all these quick. It's easier to kind of stand this all up at once instead of letting one part just kind of hang there. It might fall. So then I'm going to push these together a little bit. Could use like the sponge or your brush just to help blend the edges, get rid of any unwanted score marks. So if you accidentally scored just a little bit too far, usually by going over it with the slip, either on your finger or on a brush or on a sponge, whatever tool you want, it can get rid of those ugly score marks, those unintentional ones. And I would just go around, and I'm gonna make sure everything is blended together nicely so that this doesn't fall apart. But other than that, you've made a really cool looking bowl, and all we have to do is add all the extras and details on that we want. Thanks for watching, guys.